All new tonight, an exclusive look at a new lawsuit filed against the City of Flint and the Chief of Police. The allegations are serious, among them racial discrimination and sexual harassment. Fox 66's Famie Redwood has been following this all day, breaking it down. Famie, these allegations that some officers referred to others as whitey?
Yeah, Dave, a lot is in here. It's in its early stages because it was just filed, but 17 plaintiffs are in this 24-page lawsuit that we're going to show you. The majority of the allegations center around racial discrimination. In addition, someone who's supposed to protect and serve a top police officer is accused of sexual harassment. This 24-page lawsuit is incredibly damning. 17 plaintiffs are suing the City of Flint, Police Chief Timothy Johnson, and the city's HR Director, McKinney Jackson. Let's first look at the racial discrimination aspect of the suit. Most of the plaintiffs are white. They claim they were not hired or given promotions because of their race. One incident referring to the police chief reads, "Defendant Johnson then held up an older photo of the City of Flint Police Department higher-ups and said, 'My purpose is to change the color of all these people that fill these positions.'" The sexual harassment allegation centers around Detective Sergeant Tyrone Booth. He is not named as a defendant in this lawsuit, but one plaintiff claims she was sexually harassed by him through phone calls and text messages, asking her to perform oral sex on him. The lawsuit says she refused his advances but began receiving unfair discipline as a result. It claims the plaintiff had a subsequent meeting with the city's HR director. The plaintiff reportedly expressed regret, saying she should have never made an internal complaint for sexual harassment. And the HR director, according to this lawsuit, said she absolutely should not have, and now she knows better in the future. We went to City Hall to get its side, but we were told by the city spokesperson that the city cannot comment on pending litigation. We also emailed Detective Sergeant Tyrone Booth, who responded with the same thing. We also spoke to the attorney for the plaintiffs. He says that he was not available today, but he would speak to us next week. To read the complete lawsuit, head on over to our website, WSMH.com.
Tonight's State of the City comes as the City of Flint continues avoiding answering questions to a lawsuit we first told you about last week.
As you may remember, 17 plaintiffs making several allegations here against the city, including sexual harassment, but also racial discrimination.
NBC 25's Famie Redwood was at the State of the City address. She joined us now live from Flint from the Capitol Theater.
And Famie, you did try to talk with several of these officials several times and even allow them a chance to respond to the lawsuit.
Yeah, Dave and Stephanie, earlier tonight we tried to talk to Mayor Karen Weaver, Police Chief Timothy Johnson, and the city's spokesperson so they could respond to these allegations of sexual harassment and racial discrimination. They repeatedly refused. Despite their lack of answers, there are some in the city that are questioning, though, the timing of this lawsuit. 17 plaintiffs are suing the City of Flint, Police Chief Timothy Johnson, and the city's HR director. Some of their claims include allegedly being denied promotions because they're white. One woman claims she was sexually harassed by Detective Sergeant Tyrone Booth, who works as a police department spokesperson. When we initially learned of the lawsuit last week, we tried to get the city's reaction, but the police department and city spokesperson Candace Machat refused. Fast forward to Monday. Machat put out this press release calling into question our journalistic integrity. She says we did not provide the city with the entire lawsuit, which is incorrect. On Friday, we did allow city officials to read the suit, but told them we felt uncomfortable when they tried to make copies, considering our job is to report the story, not become a part of it. During the State of the City address, we tried to give the mayor and the spokesperson another chance to respond. They both refused. We also tried to get the police chief's side of the story, but he said he cannot speak on something he didn't read.
Matter of fact, we haven't been served yet. So you asked me to speak on something that I have not even received.
But you could get a copy from the county building.
No, I don't have to get a copy. They should bring it over to us because we're the ones served, right?
Someone is saying that the spokesperson for the department sexually harassed one of your other officers. Are you saying that is completely untrue?
Completely. That I know of.
It has not gone unnoticed that the mayoral election is in just a few weeks, causing Councilman Eric Mace to question the timing of this suit.
I'm just wondering why didn't any of them employees come up to council and tell me? That's why I'm suspicious about it. But I thought the timing was a little bit strategical and political.
Do you think the lawsuit was released right now just because of the mayoral election in a couple of weeks?
Well, I think that's a part of it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it.
As we mentioned earlier today, the city did release a statement that did not answer any of our questions. However, I do want to read part of that statement. You can go ahead and pull it up on the screen. The spokesperson says the City of Flint does not condone any manner of sexual harassment and racial discrimination. Likewise, the City of Flint will not stand idly by as unverified allegations attempt to damage the personal and professional reputations of the men and women identified in these pleadings. Back here live, we will continue to try and get answers. We are expecting to talk to the lawyer that filed the suit with the plaintiffs tomorrow morning. Live in Flint, Fami Redwood, NBC 25 News.
We continue to follow the multi-plaintiff lawsuit against the City of Flint and two city officials. This is a story we broke late last week, and now we are the only station to talk to the attorney representing the 17 plaintiffs who are suing the city. The allegations include racial discrimination and harassment. Fox 66's Fami Redwood with the story.
Tense days continue at City Hall and other municipal buildings. 17 plaintiffs in this lawsuit, many who still work for the city while suing the city. Most of the plaintiffs are white. The allegations include racial discrimination, sexual harassment, and retaliation. Attorney Dean Yotis represents them. Many of the plaintiffs claim they lost promotions because they're white. The suit alleges Police Chief Timothy Johnson, who is one of the defendants, wanted to increase the amount of black officers.
There are some people that might look at this and say, what is wrong with having a police force that looks like the city? The city's predominantly black.
It's not an issue of black or white. It's an issue of behavior and what's appropriate and what's not.
Since last week, we've tried speaking to Mayor Karen Weaver, the police chief, and the city's spokesperson, but they declined. The city did send a statement on Monday that said in part, it is nonetheless unfortunate to see the lack of professional integrity that would allow a law firm to prepare a lawsuit with such blatant falsehoods.
They took more time preparing that PR statement than they did investigating any of the allegations that occurred in this case when they happened.
There's some people that say, look, the election is in a couple of weeks. This is a political stunt. What do you say to that?
That's not my job. You know, my job is to represent individuals on employment-related concerns.
All of these negative stigmas about Flint, do you worry that this is just, you know, there are people that say, oh, of course this is happening in Flint.
Of course. That's why we filed the lawsuit. We don't want to be known as a city that accepts racial discrimination. We want to be unified as one community.
But considering this suit is in its early stages, unification might not happen anytime soon. In Flint, Fami Redwood, Fox 66 News.